about to get our first shot off for the Metal Gear Rising. I think it's called Metal Gear Sunrising. I think that's the classy name for it. But about to get our first shot off. We're gonna be shooting all day, starting outside, doing the exterior stuff first. Metal Gear Psycho. The beauty of these videos is we never have to decide on the name until literally like seconds before it's released. In fact, we've even changed the name after it's been released before. I was writing up an email for the location scout for what type of apartment we needed to shoot it in, and I was thinking, to describe it, I was like, it's the kind of apartment that the guy from American Psycho would live in. And it's only, I'm like, wait a minute. And Haldine was sitting next to me, and she's like, wait a minute. She's like, would it be funny if the entire thing's like that? I'm like, oh my gosh, the entire thing can be just like that scene. And so it was not until I was looking at the location that I had the idea to make the entire thing kind of parody that scene. And then the more I thought about it, the more the similarities it had with Raiden and how he and the backstory of his character. So it made a lot of sense. This is not any of our personal residences. This is a little bit out of our means. When we were scouting it out, I guess the rent is like $5,500 a month, which is crazy even for LA, and I'm sure it's even crazier for you guys that are living out in the Midwest where I'm from, where it's like rent is super cheap. But it's very nice, and I think it is the kind of place that Raiden may just call home.
I always use an aftershave lotion with little or no alcohol, because alcohol dries your face out and makes you look older. Then moisturizer, then an anti-aging.
This is so ridiculous. This is a ridiculous video. I hope, if you guys haven't seen American Psycho, you owe it to yourself to watch that movie and then watch this again. So this video ended up being a very fast turnaround in that the shoot had to happen and the video had to come out a week later. So I was scrambling for a suit because the whole time I'm like, what am I gonna do for a riding suit? And I knew that I wanted to do him in his pajamas because that would allow him both, one, to only have certain elements of the costume, but also it allowed to have like more mobility because all these costumes are always really difficult to move around in. I heard last minute that Metal Gear Rising was having a launch party at the Hard Rock Cafe, and so like super last minute, I'm like, I heard about it because I was on the phone with a guy talking about the costume, and he's like, oh, there's a party tonight. There'll be a lot of cosplayers there. I'm like, gotta go right now. I'm gonna run over there. Like hung up the phone, ran over to my car, drove over there, crashed the party, and met with a bunch of the cosplayers, and with the interest of hopefully sourcing a costume. And luckily, I met Jeff there, who made this incredible Raiden costume. And he graciously, like, we'd never met before. Just that night I talked to him, like it was like super loud, like party music going on. Talked to him and I'm like, and he got the idea and he really liked it. And so he's like, yeah, you can use my suit, which is amazing because he spent, I don't know how many hours working on it, but it's like an incredibly detailed, like handcrafted suit. So the range of difficulty of the effects in this video are gonna be the full spectrum. Basically, the hardest one is obviously jumping over the balcony and the slash shot. And the easiest one should be this, the push-up shot, where basically all we're doing is pushing this as slow as we possibly can and as smooth as possible. Not as easy as you think. And then Eric's gonna be doing push-ups just as cleanly as he can, and then we're gonna speed the whole thing up in post. So ideally we get like 25 seconds, speed it up till it's like 5 seconds. So, and it'll look like he's going fast. And if we have to, we'll add like a little bit of motion blur to make it look like he's actually going that fast.
Start moving and then we'll go.
Oh, he's maxed out. Done. We're done. That was good.
I started off at a good pace and I realized they're at my feet. I should wait till you're like up in my chest so I look like a man.
Yeah, that's right. So for makeup and also wardrobe and like Raiden help, fortunately at the party with Konami, I also met this girl named Haley, who's a great cosplayer, and she also is like, she loves her favorite character. She loves Raiden, and so she has like all the information about it. And I'm a pretty big fan of Metal Gear Solid. I know my way around the series, but she is like far beyond me in terms of an expert, especially when it comes to Raiden. So she agreed to come on set, and she did all the makeup and wardrobe for us.
I'm Haley Mintz, and I'm doing makeup and I guess costume maintenance for our project today. The very first thing that I do that I've actually already since done is making him a little bit paler and then giving him his manly guy liner. But right now, I'm just touching up his scars. They also don't look like realistic scars, so I'm actually just taking some some not waterproof eyeliner and smudging it so it blends out a little bit, and then putting rigid collodion, which makes the skin pucker like a scar, and putting that over it. I found that it gives a very character-like look that works really well and stands out and is pretty graphic. I'd like to think that I know Raiden as a character, so it's just been really fun.
So to play Raiden, I was looking for a guy. I needed a guy who was gonna be able to handle a sword really well, but also someone who could kind of look the part. And so I texted our longtime collaborator Eric Linden. I'm like, oh, I need a Raiden, a guy who can handle a sword. And he's like, dude, I can be Raiden. And I called him up right then, and he's like, dude, I've had this game for 2 hours. I've been playing nonstop. It's so incredible. He's like, I'd be a great Raiden, and he liked it. He liked it so much that he immediately went and got into Photoshop and comped a picture of himself. Let me find it for you guys. He looks the part, and he's able to wear the suit, and he's able to, more importantly, be able to do the sword play, which is an essential component of this video.
The most stressful thing about the suit so far is just not being able to move in it like I normally would. Doing a lot of the sword stuff's way more difficult with all this on.
Action! Here you go, Eric. So this shot is basically you jump down and you land like literally like on my shoulders at the down. This is after you've already gotten off of me, and now you're still in me. You're gonna pull it out for me. I'm down here like this, like
Okay. Try and land like right here. You want me to pull it out and turn all at the same time? Pull it out and then walk into this and land here.
I wanted to do as little of it in CG as possible and try to get real slashes through the fruit. And in order to get high quality shots in slow motion like that, the only way to do it is to spend lots of time. 3, 2, 1, action.
Look how huge, this is an orange-sized strawberry, Spencer. You're giving me all the baby strawberries. I got no chance. Well, you need to practice. Yes, perfect. Yeah, got it.
Both your hands are there, and so fruit just goes like, and you go, and so it's like, wait, how did he do that? So you have to be prepared to set up over and over again and really kind of perfect it and work with it, because even if you get the right camera movement, the fruit might not be in the right spot, or the slash might not go through the middle of the fruit. And even if you get the right slash, you might miss with your camera, so you just have to prepare to have many retakes, allow lots of time, have your lighting in a way that it's not going to change too much, so you can just keep kind of going through it and going through it. And so fortunately we were able to allow like 4 hours of shooting on that day, so we were able to get a few good shots of the fruit out of that, and then of course we did one CG shot just to really like spruce it up, like a shot that's impossible to get. Sometimes you just have to get into the old 3ds Max and get it done. I don't think the location was entirely 100% happy with us, because we told him we were swinging a sword in the location, but we didn't tell him we were swinging the freaking, it's super heavy, and this has got to be, how tall is this? This has got to be, that's like 4.5 feet tall. So I'm 6'2", so that's super tall. And so we were swinging it around, and the momentum, like in order to slice through the fruit, because it's not a very sharp sword, in order to slice through the fruit, we had to start with like a huge windup and swing all the way, and you could slice through the fruit, but then the momentum of the sword would keep carrying it, and we swung it right into the ceiling. Just a little whiteout, right? That one they found out about, and we have to pay to fix. But there was a few other ones that they didn't find out about, and so we also swung into the granite countertop. They didn't notice those nicks. We also swung into what else? There's a bunch of. We did some damage to the floor, I think, but that was pretty secretive too. We just kind of like sharpied it back to black, and it was good to go. So what you can get away with, you always got to get away with. Pay for what you have to, but get away with what you can avoid getting. You have to pay for.